I've often thought about what would the perfect player look like.
It might play the game in a completely different way from the way that we play it.
As a chess player, you want to know more about chess, you want to get deeper, and there is so much still to learn.
AlphaZero played a match against Stockfish, which was the strongest computer that we all knew, and it won the match.
And all of a sudden I thought, wow,
does this really work? How does it know how to do it?
I started thinking, it's quite interesting, and there's just a couple of games that went bang.
And these were very exciting games, very attacking games, giving pawns away right at the early stages of the game. The other computers were thinking, well, that's too early.
AlphaZero doesn't have any rules. It learns through experience.
Really didn't think there was room for this huge attacking style, never in my wildest dreams.
There's even more depth than we thought in chess.
It's like discovering the secret notebooks of some great player from the past.
It explains AlphaZero's strategies.
How does AlphaZero think? AlphaZero blows apart what traditional engines are doing.
Hello, everyone, and
Good evening.
Welcome to this stream on the second round of the Open Championship of the Caplin British Online Chess Championships. Welcome, everyone. Just let us know if there's a problem with the sound or problem with the video or something like that. Otherwise, we'll assume that everything's good. Hey, Treddy007. Glad to see you on the stream. So, really looking forward to it. We had a great round one, in actual fact, very exciting games. Nice mix of wonderful attack by William Claridge Hansen, for example, and a very nice endgame by Mark Hebden to win his game. And, we've got some good matchups tonight as well.
Top board, we have Grandmaster Michael Adams against FIDE Master William Claridge Hansen. And board 2, Woman Grandmaster Katarzyna Toma against Grandmaster Matthew Turner. We'll be following these games in detail and a lot of games from the event. So Ameet Ghasi on 3 against Tamne Chopra and Daniel Fernandez against Jonathan Blackburn.
Yeah, I mean, we also noticed we've got some good games for our qualifiers, who we followed right from the beginning. So Peter Finn is white against Bogdan Lalic. That's going to be a tough game. Thomas Villiers, also known as Hack Attack on this channel, is black against Matthew Wadsworth. Matthew Wadsworth is a Guildford player, just like me, promising young IM, so not like me, and very strong player. So that'll be a tough one for Tom. And we've also got some other interesting matchups. We'll be seeing how Mark Hebden does. He won a very long game with white yesterday. He's black today against Gregor Tocek from Wales. It's I think it's going to be a good day today, and already some very tough games. Hey, Mark, good to see you there. It's
Hey there.
Sound fine, great to hear that. It's I think it works better when we've got our headsets on. I think that really makes a difference. It's I was very impressed with William Claridge Hansen yesterday. I mean, I thought that was a really fantastic attacking game, but obviously he's going to have his hey Wolves. Obviously he's going to have his work cut out with black against Mickey Adams today. It's I'm not quite sure really what you can say about playing Mickey. It's Michael's just
it's harder, isn't it, to make an attack breakthrough? I mean, the game yesterday, William sacrificed a rook. At one point, he had two rooks and a bishop all on prise.
Exactly,
and managed to do a mating attack. I think he'll find it harder against Mickey, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Michael is that he's a very fine positional player, extremely tough. He plays very fast, which he's always ahead of time, and he's always putting pressure on you in every single angle, and it's just very hard to resist. I never had a very good record against Michael. I won a few games, but I lost a few games getting tricked in time trouble, and I got absolutely soundly beaten a number of times as well, which I think is pretty common for most people who've had to face him. I mean, in terms of British chess, he's been at the absolute top for I don't know how many years. So you got Mark says he got mercilessly crushed by Mickey as well. Well, it's a large club, Mark, so a very normal club to be part of. That's I don't know. I mean, if Mickey is a bit vulnerable at things, I guess you'd probably say tactics, irrational positions. For example, I think he always had some problems with playing against Alexei Shirov, who's famed for his big attacks and very aggressive play. But
okay, so you have to be quite direct then against Mickey. So that could be, well, that's how William Claridge Hansen plays. If yesterday's game is anything to go by. Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing, of course, with Michael is that he's an absolutely fantastic defender, and I mean, I have had a number of very promising positions against him that just got turned around. I think our very first game actually in Lloyds Bank 1988 set the scene. I think it was 87. It was a rapid game, and I was 5 pawns up and lost.
5 pawns up. Wow.
Yeah, I just got very, very short of time, and Mickey just calmly just picked everything off, and then I got myself mated on the H file. It's and somehow that sort of set the scene for what would happen in a lot of our games. Mickey was always just a bit too tough and just too difficult to put away. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, I played with him a lot in the Olympiads, and it was always really impressive. Just seeing him on board one, you always knew that there was somebody who was, if he was going to lose, it was going to be because the opponent played like a genius. And the number of positions that slightly worse positions that he just seemed to convert into wins, was incredible as well. So really one of the one of the greats. It's okay. So it is 1 minute 2. So let me just share my screen. We are going to share chess.com. Now we should see a board.
Yes, a rook ending.
Indeed, and a couple of small people. I'll just make the board just a little bit bigger there, make us just a little bit smaller. And there we are. Now, Natasha's, I've got to say I'm still there because chess.com seems to be doubting that. And Natasha's prepared all the players. So let's have a look. Is it really Mickey? I'm wondering whether is that the correct one? Mickey? Is it Mickey or Mickey with an EY?
Oh, I thought. I mean, I've transcribed it from the chessresults.com. I thought it would be EY as well. I have to say. So try them both, and yeah,
try them both. Yeah.
On chessresults.com, it just has the Y.
Okay. I'm sure it's EY.
I would have thought so too.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced it's that one. So, okay, we'll have a look at that one. Yeah, then Matthew Turner black against Katarzyna Toma. That's going to be quite a tough one for Matthew Turner. Katarzyna's a very solid player as white, so that's going to be a tough one to break down. Ameet Ghasi did a horrific misclick in actual fact, but was very, very lucky that it didn't.
Yes, with Bishop D7 yesterday, he intended to play Bishop E6 and misclicked with Bishop D7, but it was okay. We just couldn't understand his move though. He came on to the chat afterwards and said it was a misclick, but his opponent had made a misclick or made a mistake just a little bit earlier as well. So
exactly. We have our game. So it was indeed Mickey with EY. Pardon me. And it's E4 and it's an E6 Sicilian. So we're going to see what William is going to play there. Knight F6. That's quite a sharp, provocative line. So Knight C3 from Mickey. And now, are we going to get knight c6 for Sveshnikov? Ooh, possibly we are.
Excellent.
Now, my favorite line was always to take on c6 and play e5. I always thought this was better for white, and I won one game against Alan Merry at the Bury St Edmunds Congress that we both played a number of times. Very nice Congress. Real shame that obviously it was one of the congresses that was that couldn't take place due to COVID-19. But
yes. So they've been doing some online events, I think, instead.
Exactly. We did a similar as well, didn't we? For,
we did. Yeah. Well, you did, didn't you? And I was we were commentating together.
You were laughing at me as I lost on time. As I lost most of my games on time.
Online simuls.
They're a bit tricky. We got the time control rather wrong, I'm afraid, and I did end up losing an awful lot of games on time. But it's good fun. It's always good fun. It's and I think, a lot of people got a win over a Grandmaster that day. It's, so no, we do miss the Bury St Edmunds Congress. Hopefully that'll happen again. Mickey's thinking here, so I don't know whether he's slightly surprised. He's taken on c6. I'm not surprised here. It's that is really the move that that I would expect him to play. White gets White gets this pawn on e5. He plays knight e4 now. And gets this a little bit of a hole on d6, but it's surprisingly Black gets some counterplay on the dark squares around the center. I mean, Queen c7 is a common move here now. Indeed, that's been played. White plays f4, oops, and then Black plays Queen b6. Very often, preventing White from castling. Kingside and aiming for squares like this and this. Now I think that c4 is the normal move here, but I think also bishop d3 has also been played as well. I'm trying to think what I did against Alan Merry actually, but I think it was slightly different. Now Black normally plays bishop b4 check just to disrupt the White position. And then White will play king e2, and then Black normally plays f5. There was king
e2.
King e2, indeed.
It's dangerous for White to have your king on e2.
Well, the Black pieces are not really doing very much there. So the king is actually reasonably safe on f3. But after king e2, I think then f5 is the move, and now f5 is normally the move that Black plays.
Okay.
And a very interesting position, actually. Really quite intriguing. There was.
I guess you would not take that off on passant.
No, you do take it on passant normally.
Okay.
And then
I was worried about the open lines against the king.
And then normally you play knight d6 check afterwards, if my memory is correct. And bishop takes d6, queen takes d6, and there was I think there was a f5's been played. E takes f6 is what we're expecting. There was a game at Vaikanze recently, 2 games in actual fact, which followed the same variation that turned out to be bad for Black. So going to be interesting. Going to be interesting to see what actually happens in this game.
I mean, I'd say this is quite a sensible choice for William to try against Mickey, in that it's a slightly unusual position.
Yeah, and I'm just checking. Mickey's had three games in this line. One, funnily enough, from 1989 against Tony Costin, and then one against Ivanchuk and one against Zhang as well. And I think actually in the earlier games he played knight f2.
Okay.
But his last game against Zhang was e takes f6, but he actually lost the game in 2007. So should be quite interesting to see what happens here.
See what he chooses now, whether he goes back to knight f2 or still sticks with ef.
It's looking at what the most popular move
gosh,
is.
so I should guess, because I don't agree with your choice of ef, so I'm going to have a guess as well on chess.com. There we go.
Looking at in the database, the most played move is knight f2, But
Okay.
Mickey has played knight f6.
Ah, knight f6. EF6.
Sorry, EF6. Sorry, which is the most popular move.
Okay.
And
fair
now
enough.
I'm expecting knight takes f6, of course. That's been played, and now knight. Sorry, not knight f6. Knight d6. Oh, knight f6 he's played. No, he hasn't. Bishop e3. Bishop e3 here. So if this is following a game, Madjan against Gunina.
Okay.
So black's got to decide where to put the queen back. Various places. D8 is one possibility. I think C7 is possible as well. That he resembles me. Yeah, David Levy wrote a number of good books. This Sacrifices on the Sicilian was a very nice book. You know, bringing together all the different types of sacks, D5 on F5 on E6 and all of that. It was very nice indeed. So Queen D8. We're still following this game now. Madjan against Gunina from 2015.
Gunina, Valentina Gunina, she won the. What did she win? She won the classic one year.
Classic the Rapid. That's right. Yeah, she's a very strong player indeed. It's a bit of a crazy player, actually. You know, wild attacks and everything. Really, but really good. I think she was the one that said, you know, how did you come to play chess? And she said, well, where I was born in Russia, it was very dark, so there was nothing else to do but study chess. You know, that's so.
That's the secret to becoming so strong.
Indeed. So Queen D8 and Knight D6 check.
I can guess this one.
Indeed. And Queen D6. I'm a little bit confused here because my database is telling me that there aren't many games in this line, and yet I seem to remember that this was just maybe the move order's just slightly different to what I'm thinking or what I knew, but it's I thought this was very well known indeed. Maybe we'll transpose back. It looks a little bit weird for black, really, in a way. You know, white's got the two bishops, and you know, black's got 3 pawn islands and lots of weak dark squares. Black's
and can't
idea
castle either immediately.
Can't castle immediately either, but black's got this idea of playing c5 and knight e4, and of course the white king is in the center, and the bishop can't develop very well. But
would you block with c5, or does that give away too much with the d?
That gives away too much. Normally, you just allow black to play c5, and you just try and get yourself developed. I think I'm maybe getting confused with another line here, but I thought rook g1 was the a main line to go g4 afterwards. But this is not a bad one. This is in terms of a choice against Michael. This is decent. You know, if you've got some good knowledge on this line, and you know, Michael's having to remember it. It's you know, it's the trapping the heffalump kind of approach that we know from Chess for Tigers from Simon Webb. You know, just try and dig a big swamp and hope that the heffalump gets stuck in it. The tiger might too, but you know, just what can you say? At least you.
There's a lovely game of Henry Mutkins in that book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's a queen sack or something.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know Henry had a game that. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's but it's quite interesting. But let's have a look at the other games. But this is very thrilling. Let's see how Matthew Turner takes on Katerina Toma. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, a6, bishop a4, knight f6.
Sorry, white and.
That's right. And Matthew Turner is black. And queen e2, bishop d6, a slightly offbeat line from Matthew Turner, although it's been
playing quirky stuff.
Yeah, it's a little bit quirky, although it's actually quite decent. The idea is you just develop your bishop, protecting e5, and well, you'll see what's going to happen in the game. c3 castles, d3, rook e8. The bishop is going to move back probably to f8, and then we'll just go d6 or d5. And often you play bishop e7 and bishop f8. Here you've gone bishop d6 and bishop f8, but it's just going to be the same. Now, Katarzyna's playing actually something that I've played quite a bit with white, just this slow Lopez. And normally what I try to do was actually to avoid castling and play h3 and g4, you know, or maybe after knight d2, g3, you know, and just try and get a kingside attack. Actually, I think I've had this maybe even.
Have you for white?
With white. And I'm not sure. I mean, I think I even tried g4 or something. I might have tried it. It's because I mean, these moves like g4 are quite interesting because well, black's development is a little bit weird with the bishop on d6. So you know, you do actually have some chances to get a quick attack going. Did I play? I think I might have played g4 here. The idea is knight g4, rook g1, knight f6, and then we I don't know, maybe we play knight d2 or something. We just claim we've opened the g file. It's quite dangerous, you know.
Castle long, then, I guess.
Yeah, castle long, just you know, just claim you've got a big attack. h3 is also very reasonable, you know, just to after bishop f8 you go g4, and yeah, and just play. I mean, in principle, it's not so fantastic for white, but it is very difficult it's very difficult for black to play. I mean, in general, I've always had very good results with this. If I play it against a strong engine, like Lila Zero, for example, I always end up getting nowhere at all and getting beaten. So, but against human opponents, I've had a very, very huge record in actual fact. So I beat my memory is going, a very strong IM with this at the 4NCL again with such an attack, and it wasn't really particularly good, but just the worry about being attacked somehow got a little bit too much for my opponent, and I won quite quickly. So that's going to be an interesting one. Interesting to see how what white does here. Knight bd2, very flexible. It might well be that white just plays knight f1 to g3 and then castles and just plays a good solid game, which is probably better than what than my weird ideas with h3 and g4. Let's have a look. Ameet Ghasi, what's the betting on a King's Indian attack?
I think so. That's what he likes. But maybe he will be playing to.
Oh no, we've got an English here. Okay. My goodness. And he had the chance. I mean, he had the chance for a King's Indian attack with e4.
Well, maybe I don't know so well. I mean, I know he does like King's Indian attack for the very rapid plays. Maybe he does something else when it's a slower play.
I don't know. I think this is slightly new now. I'm wondering, is this theory at all? Because this move Queen a4 looks rather strange. Let's have a look. I don't. I mean, in these sort of positions, the normal plan is to go knight e1, c2, e3, you know, and try and get into d5. So I haven't actually seen this plan that that Ameet is playing. So
it's not in Richard Palliser's and Simon Williams' book on the English.
No, no, their systems that they play are slightly different, with the pawns on c4 and e4 and the knight on e2.
Because Ameet was watching our chat last night, wasn't he? Because he did comment on it, so he might have taken your book recommendation and gone for it already.
No, this is something slightly different. I'll just going to check the theory on this just to see whether this has been played before. So, I mean, the point, I guess, of playing the rook to c1 like this is that, well, you're sort of attacking the d5 pawn. So if black plays the c5 pawn, rather. So if d5, then you might end up with a loose pawn on here. Just having a look to see whether we've got any games in this. We've got, indeed, we've got 3 games. One quite recent, actually, Maya against Firuja.
Okay.
So that's quite a high quality game. Georg Maya, a German player, very good in these systems. This was a banter blitz game. And that game continued. I'll just give you the random, to be honest. I'm not quite sure what we can say about it, but that game continued. Window out of the way. H6, Queen D1, so the Queen retreats. I'm not really quite sure what White's doing here, but G5, and then went H4, F6, takes, Knight E1. The White's sort of coming round to C2 and going to play B4. And Black went King F7 and tried to mate on the H file. Actually, that's quite fun. Look at this. Knight C2, Rook G8, B4, Queen G8. I'd be terrified as White, to be honest. But somehow White survived.
You want to run your king right away.
Yeah, White survived in this position, but still.
Unless you get your knight to F1 to defend somehow.
That could be possible, knight E3 to F1, but then, I don't know, yeah, you spent 1, 2, 3,
Then we're a bit
4.
stuck. Yeah.
You could have got knight H2, F1 ready, so I don't know. I'm not quite sure. But so this has been played before, obviously, but I'm not 100% sure really what the idea is. So, well, we'll hopefully we'll find out. It's I mean, I guess, yeah, the idea is Queen D1. Yeah, I mean, I guess what Georg Meyer did was quite, sensible in a way. You're going to bring the queen back and then go knight E1 to C2 and just, support B4. But it looks very, I don't know. Yeah, it does look very slow and to my eyes, not particularly impressive, really. But well, we'll see how that all goes. Let's carry on looking at all these things. We've got Daniel Fernandez. Luck is my skill against Jonathan Blackburn. So Daniel Fernandez, always a very confusing player, and will always play something strange. And indeed, we have E4, E6, G3, B6, Bishop G2, Bishop B7, Knight E2, F5. Black also getting into the spirit of things. D3. So F takes E4. Is this known? It's just always the thing about modern chess is that you can look at pretty much any strange line and you'll always find about 20 games in it. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was not known at all, because G3 against the French is very unusual, and well, the plan of going B6 and F5
quite
is
nice. Yeah, might give that
we've
a
got
go
a couple
sometime.
We've got a couple of games, but not strong players. So this hasn't been played at Grandmaster level, but all good fun. We're going to see how that pans out.
Yeah, what do you think? Because I suppose what you're doing, you're going to finish at your bishop, and you might expect there'll be a black pawn in on D5 at some point, blocking off your bishop.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the idea, I'm trying to think, what would be the idea after D5 here, but I suppose, if D5, you go Bishop G2, and if Black takes on E4, then you're going to claim that you've got this open diagonal. And if you go Knight F6, then, White maybe plays E5, and it's like a King's Indian attack. It's just doing it in a slightly different way. As always, lots of these ideas are completely reasonable and, if not absolutely crucial, but I think, Daniel's idea is always to get an unusual position. He plays a lot of strange things in the opening, and I'm sure he's very happy with what he's got. Certainly, I mean, this position's got quite wild, really, because I think Black's going to have to be a little bit careful here, So Castle's Knight F6. Well, we're going to see. We're going to see what happens here. This could be an interesting one. Could get quite sharp quite quickly, I think.
Yeah, because you don't need to take that pawn. You can just kind of leave it there for a bit.
Well, yeah, probably going to go Knight C3, I think, and just, yeah, indeed. And then, well, Black's going to decide how to develop. I mean, the key thing is when this happens, then E5 can be a threat, So you've got to be, Black's got to be careful and decide, am I going to play E5?
What if Black plays D5 here? Can you just take it off?
Well, I'm going to have Knight F4s as well, and this one becomes weak.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, you don't want to play D5 now that you put the bishop on B7, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're really going to be loose there. And I can go knight f4 and bishop h3, you know, and I think that's going to be very difficult. I mean, I'd expect more black to play e5 at some stage, but yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see. I think Daniel will be quite happy with what he's got there.
Yeah.
Now, Mark Hebden, we have, of course, the Lopez, the classical Lopez. That's what you always get with Hebs. So what is this position? Well, White's exchanged off the dark squared bishop with bishop g5, takes f6 to get a knight onto d5, and Black's just claiming that this isn't particularly dangerous. Now, I mean, these sort of structures you get from the Sicilian as well. And Magnus Carlsen's played an awful lot of these structures and has won an awful lot of games with Black. Yeah, I mean, in general, it's not too bad. I mean, Black will probably go g6, I think, and bishop g7, maybe king h8, and might go knight e7 to try and remove the knight from d5, or play something like f5, and it looks a bit like a Sveshnikov. In principle, I quite, yeah, Black's position is quite pleasant. I always find them a little bit on the dull side. You know, it's very easy to get that all the pieces get exchanged and you end up with nothing.
Well, maybe Hebs doesn't mind too much, you know, because he played that game yesterday with the rook and pawn ending, and maybe he's just happy enough if he gets swapped off to an end game again to just take his chances in the ending.
Exactly. I mean, that's perfectly fine. You know, it's
Was he the favourite for this game? He's the higher rated player.
Oh yes, a big favourite for this game indeed. He's a couple of 100 points higher for over the board rating. Yeah, going to be interesting. Going to be interesting to see what he makes of this one. Now let's have a look at Thomas Villiers, Hack Attack, regular guest on this channel, playing against Matthew Wadsworth. Very tough IM, young player, Guildford player. What have we got here? Well, we've had an English as well. Very popular opening so far in this round, and well, in principle, White's got a nice edge here. Normally, you know, you've got this lovely structure with the pawns here, and then a knight that can come into d5, and the bishop supports it as well. But Black's playing quite aggressively and concretely, so looking for a move like a4 and undermining this pawn on c4. So things are going to get sharp quite quickly. You know, just if White can deal with these threats and hold Black back, then White is just going to be much better, or much better. White's going to be pleasantly better. If Black gets the counterplay in, then yeah, all these pawns can become weak, and this could be quite nice counterplay. So let's just have a little look what we can think of there. These are quite interesting positions. So, I mean, one idea for White, it looks a bit odd maybe, but bishop a3 is not so stupid. The idea would be that after a4, we've got two possibilities. We could try bishop takes c5 with the idea of rook c5, knight a4. The one thing you have to look out for there is after bishop c5, Black might play bishop takes c3. Which I haven't yet worked out properly. Takes and takes. I don't know whether we've got a move like queen b4, maybe attacking b7, maybe threatening queen takes c5. But anyway, bishop takes c5 is one idea. The other idea would be to play b4, because after knight a6 you can play c5, and this pin is quite dangerous. The only thing I'm vaguely wondering about is whether there's the opportunity to make an almighty mess with takes c5, takes, and takes, but I wouldn't have thought so. I mean, I think bishop b7 is going to be way too many pieces. So this could be quite a dangerous thing. So bishop a3 is the first move that occurs to me, put it that way.
So Matthew Wadsworth, he had a longish game yesterday, didn't he, against Zoe Varney, and they got into a bishop's ending. And it was very equal all the way, except that the Zoe's bishop was on a dangerous square and in the end got trapped there.
Exactly. So yeah, bishop a3 looks like quite a sensible move there. I don't know what else. What else could white do that's sensible? Well, I mean, knight b5 is definitely possible as well. Again, you're looking to beat a4 with b4, I think as well. And you're going to swap off dark squared bishops, which is not bad at all. Knight d5 is possible, but I'm not sure. I'd rather delay, exchanging off my knight on d5, for now, if possible. That's just my feeling. I'm not sure whether it's correct or not. You could go also move like bishop a1, just with the idea of a4, b4. You don't get this intermezzo a3, which can be annoying. And then afterwards, again, if knight a6, you play this move c5. So quite a few possibilities. In general, I think white's doing quite nicely. A solid, typical English position there. And Matthew has played bishop a3, which I think
like you predicted,
is indeed a good move there. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now checkmate a lot. Peter Finn.
That's Peter Finn, who
Lalic.
is one of the Finn brothers that are both qualified through from the qualifiers earlier in the week. And so Peter's checkmate a lot, and he is up against Grandmaster Bogdan Lalic, who's a very solid player.
Now look at the clock. You see that Bogdan's on 59.37. So I think that he prepared this line. I think that we will. So Peter played the f3 line against the Sicilian, which I've played myself as well. Pardon me, a very interesting line, not bad at all for avoiding mainline Sicilian theory. Knight c6, c4, queen b6, this is well known. Knight c2, g6. So this queen on b6 stops castling and also attacks the pawn on b2. So it just interferes with the development of white's pieces. So knight c3, bishop g7, rook b1. And now Bogdan played something interesting, because I thought that this knight g4 was not supposed to be very good.
Oh.
Because, the idea is you're threatening mate on f2.
Yeah.
Oops. And after f takes g4, oops. And now
c3 is it?
And if f takes g4, then bishop takes c3 check. And you can't take because queen takes b1. Yeah. However, this move queen d2 is just supposed to deal with it all. I thought.
Okay.
But Bogdan is carrying on the line. He's playing bishop h6, f4, e5, giving away this square.
And he's doing all this instantly as well, right?
Doing all this instantly, yeah. Knight d5, queen d8. So I'm slightly intrigued. Let's have a little look.
Found a new line. Or is it an old line? I mean, it might be with Bogdan, because he has a very wide knowledge, and it might be a line that was known years ago and somehow has been forgotten.
We're going to see.
Or refuted, I suppose.
I'm going to check the theory on that just quickly, because it's kind of interesting. I mean, just in general, the line feels a little bit odd for black, because you played bishop g7 and bishop h6. You've gone queen b6, queen d8, so it does feel a little bit strange. But white has wasted, obviously, a lot of time as well. So let's have a look. Bishop h6, has this been played at all? Oh, there's quite a few games. Actually, after bishop h6, queen e2 was... queen e2, that's right. That was the normal move in this position. But that's been played. Oh, these are very old games, actually.
Old games.
No, not many people have played... because the normal line was to play queen e2 in this position, bishop takes c1, and then the intermediate move knight d5. You chase the queen back, and then you take the bishop on c1, which is supposed to be a slight advantage. So f4 has been played less often. And what have we got here? We've got what's the score? Well, quite a mixed score, really. So e5 has been played before.
Which people are playing this?
We've got some 2500. So Nuzhnik, 2599, for example, played this. We've got a game Savchenko-Nuzhnik against from 2012. And also one of the Kozintseeva sisters played this as well. So, good players. E5, knight d5, queen d8 is normal. And now what have we got? Well, Peter's following the main move in this line. Bishop e2 has been played, but he's played queen c3.
Okay.
So we've got a bit of a theoretical battle here, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued. It's Bogdan. No, Bogdan's thinking now, actually, which is interesting. But this was not the choice of the highest rated players. This move. This was maybe Bogdan's out of book now after this move, queen c3. But very interesting. Bit of a theoretical battle there. Okay, let's have a look at. We'll go through the games. Tom O'Gorman.
Yes, against Jem Gerner.
What is happening here? It feels a bit strange, the c5 move, always. What is happening here? But this bishop attack against the knight is a little bit awkward. So this is a sharp one. It could be that the white's doing well, or it could be that white's overreaching. So I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, this is a very awkward pin. Obviously, d takes e4. Well, let me bring up an analysis board. D takes e4 is not going to work. We've got queen takes d8 and then bishop takes c7 afterwards. So no, you're right. You're absolutely right, Mark. If you the more you prepare with engines, the more ridiculous your openings can look. And sometimes, I mean, that's really the what we actually notice a lot. Actually, Anish Giri mentioned this in one of his annotations with one of the games he won against Magnus Carlsen, was that what often happens is that you analyze the game with the engine and you only focus on the moves that the engine is recommending. And then you play it against a human, and the human just plays a natural human move, and you haven't looked at it at all because it wasn't the engine's first choice, And that's really something that's happening a lot nowadays. It's I think the big challenge is to try and always keep your human objectivity and to look at lines and say, okay, but what's an actual opponent going to play against me? Is he going to play the engine line? I mean, I was guilty of this with anyone. I mean, the number of, actually even in the pre-computer age, the number of times I got carried away looking at this incredibly complex variation and saying, oh yeah, that would be wonderful, learning it all, and then finding when I come to the board that my opponent just says, oh, that looks too risky, I'll do something quiet, and which I hadn't looked at particularly. It's a very easy rabbit hole to fall into, and I think the people who really prepare their openings well, they don't fall into that. They look first of all at the natural human moves and the computer moves they look at later.
Yeah, you do find players that just do extremely well in sidelines. It's kind of sensible looking sidelines. And
exactly. Yeah.
We looked at it in Chess for Life and some of these ones, and they were scoring like 8 out of 8 against really strong opposition. By just avoiding the really complex theory and just playing something sensible.
Yeah, so I think we looked at Pia Cramling, and she, she had her big systems against the King's Indian, but when she played just a quiet Bishop G5 system, she was scoring awesomely. It was, it's true. Sometimes I think actually, when you've got a main system and then you throw in a sideline, the sideline often scores well because people are so disappointed because they've been preparing against the main.
They've learnt up the main line.
If you play the sideline all the time,
yeah.
You need them both. You need them both. If you play the sideline all the time, it wouldn't work. But yeah, this move E4 is quite awkward actually. I'm trying to work out what I would want to do here with black.
D4.
Well, yes, D4. So I go knight E2. Yeah, I mean, maybe what I could do here is could I try D3? So what I want to do here is I want to take, if takes, I'm not sure you have to take, but I take. I'm going to go F6 because B2 and A2 are hanging. Yeah. And after Bishop H6, I want to go Rook D8 and just claim that I've got great compensation here because of these powerful bishops. That might be a plan, something like this. That might be a plan. And I don't know whether you could play a move like Queen C7 and just sidestep this. That's maybe possible as well. Because I mean, you're not going to take like this and take here. You know, this is just suicidal with the queen on here. So, and if you play Queen C7, yeah, you might be able to just just play Rook FD8 or something like that. F4 feels a bit loose. I don't know. I mean, this move C5 feels suspicious, but the fact that the knight is on E7, you know, not particularly doesn't have any particular squares, that makes it a little bit awkward. But in principle, I'd expect black to be all right in this position. Let's have a look. Is there anyone that you want to just see quickly before we start going through looking at the top games again? Oh, let's have a look at Oscar Idol. Oscar, one of our qualifiers.
Yes, he's played a couple. He's shown us a couple of his games in the chat before.
Let's see how he's doing. He's playing against Hasban, who lost against Ameet Ghasi yesterday. Ooh, this is a sharp one. Harry Evans. So knight e4. What is this position? In principle, I would say that white is normally better here because this bishop on b7 is a bit, you know, blocked out. Yeah, normally in these sort of king's Indian positions, you want the bishop pointing there, and here's not so great, but it's not so bad for black. You do have this nice knight on f5, which can attack some squares, but you do have to watch out, of course, for knight g5 to e6. So yeah, this is pretty unclear. I guess knight f5 from black now. I would think, and then, but we are going to have to watch out for this one. I think white will just play rook e1 there afterwards, and maybe go knight d4. Yeah, not clear this one. I think I'd be a little bit worried as black, you know, wondering whether how exactly I'm going to stop white from coming knight g5 into e6. And the slightly nasty thing about it is if he takes f4, knight f4, then I come into e6. So we will see. Let's go back to Michael Adams and see what's happening here. So indeed this has sort of happened. I'm positive that this is just a major line. Why on earth is my database telling me that this is not being played very often? I'm sure I've seen this. No games found. Well, amazing.
I'm not thinking of computer games.
No. This is a Shirov against somebody, and yeah. Very strange, very strange. I'm not quite sure, or maybe there's. I'm just misremembering slightly. But anyway, black has played c5 and rook c8, and Michael has taken on c5. Okay. So that is really really going for the. I mean, notice how quickly William has played, by the way. So, and Michael is playing a bit slower. So you would have thought maybe that Williams is still in his opening theory here. But what is happening here? This is very, very sharp. Well, we better bring up an analysis diagram then, because so the key, I mean, the main point, of course, is that you can't play something like queen a5 because of queen e7 check, and black's king can't castle. What ideas does black have? Obviously, the g2 pawn is hanging, but you're not going to capture that because that would open up the g file and expose black's king. So you've got two general ideas, I think. You know, either you just say, I'm going to play king f7 and then work it out later, see where white puts his pieces, or you say, this queen c5, bishop d6, obviously dangerous attacking, but also, you know, they're quite exposed. Those pieces are very close to the black position. So in principle, they're easy to attack. So now I'm going to make use of this, you know, moment of opportunity to get at the white position.
So what, rook c6?
Well, rook c6 is one idea indeed. Another idea would be bishop e4, with a simple idea that here I can take here, you know, and fork these two. Yeah. I like bishop e4 in some way because, you know, if I play rook c6, then I'm blocking my bishop behind my rook. Whereas if I play bishop e4 and then rook c6 later, you know, I'm more active. But obviously rook c6, bishop e4. Now I could go knight e4, but could be possible. Knight e4 could be possible. It's I'm reluctant to do it because it's an obvious move, and I'm always somehow I always seem to have a natural resistance against obvious moves. But it could be quite decent. And then I think we've got king f7 as a final idea. So, okay, let's have a look at rook c6 just for the sheer hell of it. What have we got here? Queen e5 or queen d4, just two moves. Queen e5 looks a little risky. Obviously, there's this possibility and there's also this possibility, but neither of those seem to be that great at the moment. Queen d4 looks a little more natural. The one thing that queen d4 allows, of course, is d6. You could play. The bishop would have to go somewhere. a7 feels a bit risky. a3 maybe. And then you could actually castle if you wanted. I mean, in principle, well, black's position is not that impressive, really. But obviously,
yeah, I mean, the rook now does look like it's a bit on the wrong side, doesn't
yeah,
it? But as you say, the white king is...
Yeah, the king on d1, you know, I think it's one of those things where you say, look at it with an engine and the engine will refute it for you. But, you know, play it at the board, you might be less comfortable. I mean, let's just have a look at bishop e4, because I do quite like that. Because, so I said bishop e4, just check that that I'm not missing something completely. No, that's absolutely good. So you can't do that. So what move would you play then? That is a good question, actually.
Maybe you move your bishop out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, bishop e2 is interesting. The only thing is then is that, you know, I can play rook c6 now, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, I've got this bishop here, which is, you know, stopping the king from coming here. So, I mean, something like queen d4 now, d6. Ooh, you know, I'm thinking this is maybe quite interesting. I mean, maybe a move like a queen e5 might be more dangerous, but then I might go king f7 simply, you know, and I'm just threatening d6, and then afterwards, well, what are you going to do? Bishop d4 or something? I can maybe go d6. Not 100% sure, but I'm not 100% comfortable with white either. I'm actually wondering, yeah, do I have another move? I mean, I could play a move like king e2, takes and king d3. But again, I go rook c6, and you know, it's simply, you know, this is certainly not Mickey's style to play like this. So I don't think that
rook e1, the crowd is saying.
Rook e1 is what you want. Oh, that is a gorgeous idea, because bishop d3, we got rook e6. The question is, however, we've got a few things. I could go king f7 here. So first of all, d takes e6, queen e6 is mate. That's clear. But I could go king f7, and then the question is, if you go rook e7, I go king g8, and the idea is queen d3. I've got rook c5, and if I go queen e7, I'll just take.
Looks like there must be something, doesn't it?
I'm not sure. The point is this king and this rook, really. You know, if you were castled somewhere, then I'd say, yeah, of course. But I'm just wondering here whether we've really got something.
Rook e7.
I mean, king g6, obviously, queen d3 checks. I've got to come back here.
If you now move your bishop.
Yeah, this is possible. I could go bishop d4 here, for example, threatening bishop f6. Okay, I'll go bishop c4, actually.
Okay.
Cover this one.
Yeah.
I mean, rook g7, unfortunately, I go king g7, and I'm covering this one now.
Yeah.
So with the queen, so that's good. And if you go bishop f6, I'll just take it. So I'm covering this one, and if you go queen f6, then I will go queen f8. But then I've got queen g5 check. Aha.
Oh, right. Okay.
That is winning. So that
wins. Okay.
that actually wins. So bishop d4. So maybe I should go bishop g6 there, maybe.
Okay.
I should keep my bishop on that diagonal. Although, actually, come to think of it, why do I need to move my bishop? I don't. I can just play rook c6 here.
Can you? What if I take your... Right.
Here. I will take here.
You're going to do all sorts of... Yeah, okay.
And there. So I
If
wonder,
I take
actually,
your queen, you're going to...
I'll take your rook. I'll take your rook there. That's going to be good.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Here.
Rook e1, rook e1, rook e1. So that's a great little idea, I have to say. But I think I'm getting away with it, to be honest. Unless there's something really cool that I'm missing. The point is, I mean, rook c6 is actually going to be quite a good defense coming in. No, I think this is going to be fine for white there. For black, rather. I think this is going to be fine. In which case, bishop e4 is quite a good move, I think. Certainly good practical chances, I think. Let's have a look. What did... he's played it! Bishop e4. And Mickey played bishop a3.
Wow. Quickly as well.
Pretty quickly, yeah. 2 minutes. So...
we didn't even think of that.
Well, we were concentrating on something else, I'll claim, but so bishop a3, yeah, that was indeed one of the moves there for. I'm just wondering. I'm just going to check my my correspondence database just to see whether we've got anything in there, because that would be possible, wouldn't it? That this is a correspondence game. Let's have a look. Nope, nothing. We're really we seem to be completely new here. I find that hard to believe, really, but okay. Bishop a3. Let's have a look at this then. So bishop e4, bishop a3. How are we going to do this?
So the idea is just to keep that king blocked off, even if
keep the king blocked off. That's right. And this
exchange bishops.
Yeah, this bishop's protecting this pawn, so it's giving you some sort of protection on your on where your king is eventually headed. But I mean, if I go rook c6 here, and you go queen d4, that's the only move I think that I can see. And then I go queen c7. I'm just wondering what's happening here, because I've got two threats. I'm threatening queen f4.
Yeah.
And if you go bishop e4, then I've got rook c4.
Yeah.
And I don't actually see how you're doing this.
What about our rook e1 idea now?
You mean
not now? I mean now.
Now.
Maybe now.
I'll just take here simply.
And take on c4.
And take on c4. I mean, black's good here. I mean, you can go f5, but I'll go king f7. I mean, unless there's tactics, weird tactics, then I'd say that black is doing great here. It's with this king stuck on here. And this doesn't look difficult or anything. I mean, rook c6, queen d4, queen c7. I mean, what could this be?
Normal moves. Okay, c5.
I mean,
actually, you obviously don't want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, we got.
All right. Yeah. All right.
But I mean, I've got this very quick threat of bishop d3, rook c4. It's not even. All
right, b3 then.
Okay, b3. I'll go queen f4 then. I'm threatening bishop f3 check.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, I suppose the question for this is, can you do something like this? And is it necessary for black to play a move like queen e4? Because I could imagine Mickey saying, oh well, I'm just slightly better, and I'm sure I'll win this in the end. That I could imagine. But so I suppose after bishop e4, knight takes e4 is kind of actually it looks vaguely dangerous. This, to be honest. I mean, obviously queen g7. I've got queen d2.
Yes.
But I guess I could play king c2 maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, because Mickey doesn't mind swapping those queens.
No. I don't know, d5. I mean, the king's is caught a bit in the center, so that is quite interesting. So what am I saying? I'm saying we're saying b3. Queen f4. I'm wondering whether I could go queen a5 or something and knock this bishop away. If it comes here, all I need to do is to get a rook onto d6, maybe queen f5 or something like this. I don't know. Now king c2, then you're just going queen h5 check. King c2, I've got queen e2 then, so...
All right, bishop e2.
Bishop e2. Queen g6. I mean, I'm threatening to castle now, I don't know, yeah.
Bishop back to a3.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I mean, queen a5 is quite interesting, actually. I think that is actually an interesting move. And queen f4, yeah. Bishop takes e4. This is maybe quite decent for white, unless we've got. Well, actually, when did I go e5 in this position?
Mark's suggesting instead of king c2 to try bishop c1.
Bishop c1. Haven't I got knight f2 check in that? Here I'd have knight f2 check with an attack on there. What you could, but I think you probably mean, let me have a look, b3, queen f4, bishop c1. But then I've got bishop f3 check. So I think we're in a little bit of difficulties there. I don't know. This just looks, if I had to guess, I'd just say, this is just quite,
Fine.
this is just fine. This is just fine. What did, he took, okay. Well, this is also very reasonable. William took on d3, went queen c7, forking f4 and c4. This is also very reasonable. The only thing that worries me about this one is we're getting closer to Mickey territory now, which is that he's going to find a way just to swap off the queens for a slightly better ending, and then he's going to grind you. That is where my worry would be. I would probably want to keep my queen side majority, so b3. I mean, maybe you go b3, queen takes. Oh, sorry, I'm not in. Whoop. I think rook c6 was a bit better, but I mean, this is quite very reasonable as well. But I think if you give away the c4 pawn, I mean, that forces the exchange of queens, but it feels less. I prefer the unbalance of having 3 pawns on the queen side to 1 like this, and so I really would want to play maybe rook c1 or b3. Rook c1 maybe, just get the and queen f4. What can I do here? I don't really want to give away a pawn after queen h2 because I'm not completely convinced I've got. Well, that could be queen h2. Rook c2. How about that? That might be compensation. I mean, the bishop's stopping this. Your pieces are active. You might get g4 to g5. You could turn it around like that. You could also play a move like g3, maybe. Some awkward checks. Not sure. This is quite sharp. I wouldn't say that the white is necessarily better there. Mickey's played. No, Mickey hasn't played yet. That was just my guess. He's having quite a think there. 6 minutes already. So I don't think he's 100% happy with how things are going there. Katoma against Elmat.
So this was this interesting opening where Matthew Turner had played an early bishop d6 in front of his d-pawn.
Exactly. And Black has played, a very sensible plan of closing the center here with d4. These pawns on g6 and h6 are stopping these two knights from doing anything. So I'm not quite sure this move a3. I think what you're always afraid of in these positions is you're a little bit afraid it wouldn't happen immediately, but you're a bit afraid that Black would play a move like d takes c3 and then go b4. Sorry, I should probably do this in a better way. For example, d takes c3 and then b4, and claim this square for the knight. What you'd normally do you'd normally one typical plan for Black would be to play a5 and then to play b4 like that. So I guess with a3, White is just stopping that. And what is White going to play here? I mean, maybe White is going to take on d4 actually. This might be White's plan, just to take. If he takes d4, we can play the bishop to f4 maybe, and if knight takes d4, we'll probably take it. But in general, I quite like Black in these positions. I played these types of positions a lot against my engines, and I'm afraid the results have not been good. I keep on getting outplayed as White in these positions. And in fact, if you look at the position, if you coloured the white pieces black and you coloured the black pieces white, you wouldn't be surprised at all. You say this is a normal White opening. So, Black's White's position doesn't look so impressive. It's quite it's back on the mostly back on the bottom three ranks. So I think Black is absolutely fine here in this position. This has got a bit sharp. C4. Wow.
This is Ameet Ghasi.
Indeed.
Against Tamne Chopra.
So what happened here? H6, E3. So actually h6, this is what Firouzja played, but Ameet didn't play queen d1, he played e3. Oh, this was his plan. So he played knight b5, and then he played bishop c3, so he was aiming for d4. Now Black played d5, and now Ameet switched to another plan. He took on d5. Knight
was your queen across? No.
No. He's not a total mad hacker. He went bishop e1, and now this rook is what we mentioned earlier. This rook is attacking the pawn on c5. But look at this response from Black. C4.
Okay. Can we?
Let's have a look.
Take it.
What with Natasha?
Let's try the pawn.
Indeed, yeah. So I mean, rook takes, just to clear up the variations. Knight b6 is one idea. Of course, queen takes c4. We go knight e3, which is great. So d takes c4. We're going to go knight b6 again, and this is a very annoying fork here. So queen b3 is the only move to try and hold the pawn. Then I think we go a4, and then I think the only move to hold the pawn again is queen c2.
Yeah, and that queen's getting a little bit out of play there.
It certainly is. But I don't know. I'm not quite sure how would we exploit this. I mean, queen d3 is sort of obvious, actually. Well, actually, how? I mean, I could go bishop f1. I don't know. I'm not feeling the joy and the power of White's position here, really. But you are a pawn up, so that might be possible. I mean, I suppose, are you going to play b3 next move? Maybe. I mean, e4, you'll probably just give up a pawn with knight d4. But actually, that's not even that's not particularly. Well, no, that would be quite good. Maybe you should could go g5. You could go bishop f5 as well. Maybe queen d3. Queen d3, maybe if we just go knight d2 like this. We are threatening to be able to go rook c3. Should I just go? Maybe I should play a move like f5 simply and just claim long-term compensation. But I suppose we go b3 then. On the other hand, b takes. What am I threatening here? It's a bit hard to say what I'm threatening. Maybe actually, perhaps a better move for whites would be to play b4 and threaten to bring the queen over to e2. Then that might be possible. I mean, it's nerve-wracking, right? Because you're really wondering, is this am I going to survive like this, or am I going to get something trapped? But I'm not sure. And something like queen d3 is indeed not stupid. But after knight d2, well, I could go knight d2, knight a5. This might be quite dangerous because the idea is, if I chase you away, I go back to d7 and I've got this threat of queen b5. So now I think this is a bit awkward, actually. I think this is a very nice resource from black, and I'm wondering whether we should. I'm wondering what we should do. Whether we should.
This is the position now with that pawn. The pawn's gone to c4.
Indeed. Let's have a look. Where did I have Ameet? No, where did we have? We had him here, didn't we? No, that was a. Oh, there. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong place. Yeah, this is the position. He's thinking here. Hi, sorry, that was our software threw us out of the stream, but we should get Natasha coming back very, very soon. It's I think that we're live again. Just let us know whether we're live or not. Yeah, something slightly strange there happened, but okay, we are live again. Hey, Natasha. Yeah, no, we got thrown out of our room.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, but all good. Thanks, Mark. Great. It's yeah, you got to be on your toes with us. The stream might just end at any moment.
I probably didn't like the move I was about to suggest.
Oh dear, what were you about to suggest, Natasha?
I don't know. I'm not going to say it now, am I? Because I know what happens. I'll get booted out.
Indeed. It's the one good thing about this software is that you get back very, very quickly. So it's just another click, retry, and then you're on again. So well, there are some advantages there. Let's have a look at Luck is My Style, Daniel Fernandez. Ooh, that's turned out well for him, hasn't it?
Well, this is the French defense where white played g3 on move 2.
Indeed. And look at the clock times, 49:29 to 17:01. And well, lots of pawn islands and weaknesses, a fantastic square on e5, lots of light square weaknesses. So yeah, a really fantastic position for white. I wouldn't have thought black could hold this. This is really this is very, very difficult. Okay, Mark Hebden. Ooh, so my guess here is that this hasn't worked out particularly well for black.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the clock times. Normally Mark's very, very fast, but he's actually a tiny bit behind on time. And well, we're getting into a situation where indeed, my inner George Formby, my goodness. But this has turned out quite beautifully for white, in actual fact. And I mean, I'm quite tempted to play this move, Queen b3. And the idea of that is, we go queen b3, and if you take, I'm just going to take off, and then I'm going to come in with knight c4, attacking this one. And I'm coming in with rook b1 afterwards, and rook b6, rook b7. I mean, it's horrific. And a move like f4, I go f3. You know, I mean, there's no way through. So this is really crucial for Mark. I mean, he's really got to find a way to play this. Or he's going to be much worse. Yeah, something's gone a bit wrong in the opening there.
So what if he moves his king to h8?
Well, I mean, I guess we can just go here basically, you know, and do the same, and then we're just going to come with knight c4. The one advantage to being a little bit quicker is that you could maybe go rook b8, rook b5, and block the and block the b file in that way. But I'm seriously worried about this position. I mean, it could just be one that you say is just positionally lost, really. You know, so Mark's I think Mark's under a bit of pressure there. But we'll see how that one turns out. If anyone can turn it around, if anyone's got experience in these Lopez positions, it's Mark. So I'm sure he's played a lot of these. This is Wadsworth. So
Wadsworth against Thomas
Villiers. Now, we know Tom, look at that, rook on h5. He likes doing crazy stuff. So, but unfortunately, he's had to exchange off queens here. So this is...
That doesn't help the attack.
That doesn't help the attack. I mean, in principle, I think White's doing very well here. The only important thing, if you can just keep some control, don't let those two bishops get free, then I think you're... now imagine me in that opening line on a mine square in that opening line. Yeah, if you can just hold back those two bishops, then you're just going to be completely winning with White.
Okay, so maybe we defend the pawn on e2.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how to do that. Maybe rook c2, get out of this diagonal, get out of the diagonal here, and threaten to take d6.
Yeah.
Just wondering, what sort of chances can we see for black here? We go rook c2. I don't know whether it's the best move, but I suppose the one nice thing, pardon me, then I could probably play b. Oh, actually, then I could play b5 maybe, because knight c3, rook c5, and all of a sudden this is rather awkward. Actually, this pin is horrific. We could play the knight to b2. That would be possible. But I could probably play rook c5 then. And I feel like I've got myself together there. So maybe we need to be a bit more concrete and decisive here. So maybe we shouldn't protect e2, and we should just take. Or should we go knight b6 first? I don't know. Let's take on here. So I'm guessing bishop takes e2. Well, actually, is this so bad for black? I'm not actually sure. I mean, this rook is really odd. But we've got bishop f8 coming in and various tricks, so it's not as obvious as you might think.
So what, like just knight back to c3?
Oh.
Do you run into rook c5 again?
Well, no, we've got knight e2 then. Now, I'm wondering about bishop f8 with tempo, and just it just seemed to get all sorts of tempi somehow. You know, rook d7, maybe bishop g4. Okay, you're a pawn down, but you've got the two bishops. Not clear. I thought this was clearer than it was actually, but I think you're going to need to find some good moves here to.
It's equal in pawns, isn't it?
It is equal in pawns. It's just that these look so weak, and this one looked offside. So I was sort of thinking, well, you know, this looks like something that's going to be very, very difficult for black. But I'm not 100% sure anymore. I mean, you know, there's stuff like knight b6, for example, and after bishop e2, you know, White's actually threatening a move like knight d7 and then knight f6 check, you know, with tempo.
Oh yeah.
So, but if I go rook d2, you go bishop g4, and you're covering here. I mean, it all feels terribly. Oh, I'm just getting a pop-up from a chess base about Van Black Forest Gatto playing something just now. But, I don't know. Interesting. I don't. I'm not 100% sure what. Yeah, I had wondered about this one. White's played bishop f3, takes.
Okay. Yeah.
The only thing is that now if I take this pawn, I've kind of ruined these. So this kingside majority is not worth half as much. You know, it's so I do wonder about, because I think I can just play b5 here. And after, if knight b2, then I go rook c5, you know, and bring my rook over. Doesn't look so bad for black. Maybe I was wrong there. Maybe it just wasn't that great. It's possible. Let's have a look at B unit.
Bogdan.
Bogdan. This is looking quite good for black, I would have thought. He's picked up the 2 bishops, and he's got these dangerous pawns attacking, and white isn't castled yet. And that obviously that not being castled is a little bit worrying. But maybe we've got a chance.
Nice.
Well, no, yeah, and castling is a bit of a problem, because if we castle, we can play bishop e2. If we castle, then we'll play bishop e2, and then we're going to play bishop takes c4 afterwards. So that is a bit of a problem. How are we going to do this? Well, we could take on f5 like this, I suppose. Well, I mean, the idea is just a trick, really. When after castles, bishop e2, rook f2 takes, I want to go knight e3. That's the idea. The only question is, well, actually, I could probably do the other one. That would probably be work somehow. Takes, I go knight takes. That would probably work. The only thing is that after e takes f5, I might get hit by knight e takes f4.
Yeah.
Check.
Takes.
And then rook e8 check. Maybe. Or king f1 maybe.
This feels like white's been playing a king's gambit.
Yeah. I don't know. This feels. I mean, this is really risky. I mean, if you do this, you're just gambling basically on making the opponent nervous. You know that he's got such a good position, because it really looks very dangerous. I mean, I suppose you could I run this way? Or maybe knight e3. So I was thinking knight d4, and you still can't castle because of knight e2. Actually, knight e2 is already a threat to attack this one, but maybe I can go f6 or bishop g5, queen a5 check. You'll be a very lucky boy if you escape with this one, I think.
Black, yeah.
No, this is very nice for black, I think. Well, I mean, you know, look at the position. I mean, black's castled, white isn't, and all black's pieces are in play. So, you know, it would be quite crazy if black wasn't better in this position. So,
yeah.
B unit looking good, playing fast, playing well so far. This
nice one, Bogdan.
Tom O'Gorman. Oh, we had this position, bishop f6. Well, yeah. Black's actually a pawn up here, so we've got this slightly awkward threat of bishop takes d4 and knight f6. But if we can deal with that, then we are good to go. I would love to play a move like knight f5, to be honest, but I don't think we've got enough. Let's have a look.
Knight f5 with the idea of bishop d.
Well, I wanted to go here simply, you know, and we go rook f3 here and king h1, and I was hoping to have a nice little something or other, but you know, maybe a bishop f2 or something.
Okay.
But I guess bishop f2 is quite neat, but maybe we'll just go bishop h4, you know, and just you'll get compensation for the exchange, but probably not more than that. I can't. Oh, it just feels like the move that you should play in this position. I mean, another idea for black is to play king f8 simply. We're getting out of the way of that fork. It still looks a little bit awkward. What do we have? We should have a better move than this. I mean, this threat of bishop takes d4 and bishop takes d4 and knight f6 is quite annoying. I mean, I could move out to e3, but that feels a little bit strange as well. It could be. Maybe I can just play this move bishop e3. Then I'll go rook f3, and that looks awkward again, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, you might see that sacking the exchange is the best move, maybe.
Yeah.
Knight f5 takes check here, and maybe I could take. He goes king there. Oh, why don't I have something here? It's just really because I mean I'm almost trapping the, you know, you're almost sort of vaguely trapping the bishop. They come around to c7. I'm just a bit worried if I go bishop c5, then white will go bishop f6, you know, and just annoy me to hell. I suppose. This move bishop f2 would be quite nice if I could play bishop g3. Well, again, maybe bishop f6 is possible. I don't know. That's a weird one. I would have thought that black's just doing really well. I mean, that would be my my feeling, but I'm just not.
Can't see the line now.
I can't see the line. I mean, I could come here, I suppose, couldn't I? So knight takes c5, I go rook d2 check. King h1, I go knight f5.
Okay.
Rook e2, I go, and rook f3, I go rook e2. But it's not quite winning really, because I'm not. I mean, for example, if white goes a3, for example, I go rook check takes. I suppose I could.
And then knight g3.
I can do that. I suppose that's quite good. But okay, then. But then you sort of feel that white might have a better option than that, but maybe not. G4. I'm obviously a little bit worried about him getting a rook. I mean, he could play here in actual fact, rook d3, couldn't he?
Okay.
I know, but no, it's okay. We'll go check there. We'll do the same thing again, and there. Crazy.
This looks nice for black once you've lined up along the 7th like that.
It does. I mean, I could go. I suppose I could play knight d4 then, couldn't I? So this might be just you know, enough compensation and everything. I was a bit scared. I thought, you know, if white can get something, sorry, not like that, but other way around. If white can get something on one of these, a rook on one of these lines, you know, but it's maybe not easy. And maybe this thread of rook check and knight g3 check is going to be good. I mean, I could also start with knight e3, threatening rook h2 mate. So it's possible. Maybe this might be an idea. Bishop takes e5. Now, what I was wondering about was actually, you know, if But could white play something like bishop e5 and threaten knight f6? That might be an idea as well. Because I don't quite know how you're going to get out of this. And of course, the bishop on e5 is blocking a rook coming into e2. So, but I could probably just go knight f5, actually, couldn't I? Because knight check, king there, takes here is going to be mate.
Could you take the bishop?
Yeah, you could take the bishop. Let's have a look. So knight f5, I can take the bishop, but I still give a check.
Still the same.
Rook check and mate there.
Yeah.
So I'm claiming bishop takes c5 there. That's what I'm claiming. Ooh, did he do it? No, he didn't. He went knight d5. Bishop d8, rook e4. Yeah, this was the other option. Yeah, I mean, this move knight d5 stops the bishop from coming to f6. You know, black's playing it safe. But this move bishop a5 is quite nice from white. You're sort of threatening rook e1 at some stage. But if I had to, if I had to say, then I would say that white's got good compensation. Black's got good compensation for the exchange. Maybe bishop d4, then to play c5, or maybe bishop c3 then. I think black's got decent compensation for the exchange, but I think maybe he had more with that bishop c5, possibly. Not sure. Let's have a look at idle player. Ooh, idle player is in control here. This is looking very good for white, of course. This bishop is still offside, and we've got this juice square on f6 for the knight. The only thing that oh no, that doesn't work. I mean, I was wondering whether we've allowed the knight to get out to h5, but then we could actually just take on f4. Take on f4, and for example, knight f4. We've got knight f6. Okay. So that's going to be winning. So that's looking very good for white there. Let's go back to Mickey. Mickey got his ending, didn't he? Oh, yes, he did it actually. He did what we suggested.
All right, right.
He won a rook f1. So he actually offered a pawn, which I do actually think. Yeah, I would have said take it, and make Michael prove it. Make your higher rated opponent prove that he's got something for the pawn would have been my my feeling, because I don't know, especially against Mickey. He plays these positions so well. He's so good at grinding these things. I'm a little bit nervous for black here. So king f7.
So I guess white's a bit better because of the pawn majority on the queen side and the bishop for knights.
Exactly. Pawn majority on the queen side, exactly that. Better pawn structures in general, just 2 pawn islands to 3, and a bishop versus knight with pawns still on both sides of the board, and slightly more active rooks. And here, king e6, bishop b2. I mean, g7 is weak, a7's weak. I think Mickey's going to win this. I'd put my money, I think 99% of the time on Mickey winning this. So,
wow, that's a good winning percentage.
Against pretty strong opposition as well, to be honest. Not just against gem strength opposition. He really is. This is a sort of position he plays very, very well. So I would expect him to win this. Yeah, I really think this was really a moment where you had to say. Take a deep breath, grab the pawn, and let Mickey prove it. I think that was probably the best idea. I mean, it's completely possible that he will, but it's at least you got a pawn for your suffering.
Yeah, because you commented we were talking about like queen h2, rook c2, and perhaps even g4 if we can get it in.
Oh yeah, I mean we were looking at. Indeed, queen h2. I mean, I was, and then probably rook c2, because I was wondering about, escaping like this, and then just saying 2 pawns and everything.
Another pawn, yeah.
Yeah, we've got moves like queen e4 simply, so you've got to watch out for those things. So I would have thought that after queen h2, we'd go rook c2, and White's going to move the king round there. But I think I do sort of feel you should be able to with some clever queen moves.
It's hard for that king though, because you can't go king f7, can you? Because of queen.
Because of queen d7, yeah.
And you can't castle.
Yeah, I mean, we could go sort of move like queen h6. Just stop the. He goes rook d2, maybe.
Can you go like queen? Sorry, d6. For white after before, yeah.
Queen h6, queen d6, possible. Yeah, possible. Maybe it was just unpleasant, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, in all fairness, is this?
Who are you going to give it up?
Well, I'm wondering because it's a d file after all. The king's here, but on the other hand, I'm not sure. I mean, if you this is a lovely little maneuver, to get the king safe, and probably afterwards you're not able to do this. I do think I think that this move. I think that Black's move bishop d3 and queen c7. I think rook c6 was a more active way of playing. I think and I think that gave a lot better chances to attack White, because this really leads more or less by you're wondering whether it leads by force to a position where where Black's just going to be worse in an ending. And again, it's the person who you're playing it against being worse in an ending against Mickey is really not nice. And the more I look at this, the more dubious I am about it. Although d5 maybe, I don't know, all very weak. Tricky. That was a difficult decision, difficult thing, but it looks like again I'd really I've got my money on Michael there. Now this is a tough old game. It's Katerina Toma against Matthew Turner. Yeah, I mean, in general, I think I'm assuming really that Black is the one pressing. At some stage you're going to play knight d2. Well, yeah, I mean, knight d2 is a little bit of a threat because we got coming into here, so White's got to deal with this. How is White going to do this? So bishop c5. I mean, bishop b4 would be a tempting idea if you could do it. Just to it just sort of stabilizes the queen side and turns this c3 pawn into at least into a nice little piece. That would be the my sort of initial reaction, the slightly annoying move that I'd like to make. So what does Black do here? I think Black takes on d2. Oh, could I do this one? That would maybe be a little bit annoying. And then, I can't grab this pawn, can I? We just go rook c8. That looks like it. Well, yeah, it looks like it could be
d6 to it back again.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's just assume this move just for argument's sake. Rook d1, rook d1. And how could Black play this? It's not very much for. Although what I could do. Well, I mean, I've got, again, I don't know whether this is a good idea. I can actually play this move because if rook a4, I've got knight b2, which is one of those typical and annoying forks. But again, the problem is with b takes a4, I'm really loosening this one. So I don't know whether it's a good one there. A good idea to eliminate the defending dark squared bishop. I think so, yes. I think so. Bishop b4. Yeah. I'm not really sure what else you do, really. It's probably the position's pretty equal in actual fact, you know, and it's still all to play for. I guess you take on d2 and go knight c4, but we're still, I think we're still very much in the realm of, yeah, tough, tight game. What's the time situation? Matthew Turner's a little bit ahead, so that's handy. But oh, how did this one go? This was Ameet Ghasi.
Oh yes.
So what White did was actually very sensible. Ooh, good lord! I keep on getting caught out by that. He took on c4, knight b6. Queen c2 there.
Queen c2. So not. So our other line was the queen going back into a2.
Yeah,
we avoided that.
This is very sensible, I think. Rook d1, queen e7, knight d6. Ooh, and Black-White played bishop a6. That is a hell of a move, bishop a6. Was there something wrong? Well, I suppose bishop e6 was what was Black worried about after bishop e6? Because that's really the move that you desperately want to play. I mean, if you go, I was thinking queen c5, but I mean, I could go knight.
You're worried about this b pawn and the knight on c6 in some way.
Well, maybe, but I mean, I'm certainly worried about it when he goes bishop a6 because b4 comes here. But with the bishop on e6, you know, I'm feeling a little bit happier. You know, because also, I mean, in this sort of situation, b4, you know, I take and I go rook a2, for example. You know, I mean, amongst other things. So I've got a bit more play. So I'm just wondering. I mean, there must have been a reason why Black didn't like bishop e6, but I'm just trying to think what that is. I mean, you know, there could be some pressure against b7, but unless it's, you know, absolutely, I mean, would knight h4 what Black was afraid of? I mean, there's some funny tactics. I'm threatening knight b7. I'm also threatening. Well, am I threatening? Yeah, maybe I am. I'm threatening. Well, I mean, just say, I don't know, rook a7, bishop c6 takes, and queen g6 here.
Oh, yes.
Oh, actually, I'm not, because with my cunning move for k7, yes. I've defended this. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But still, yeah, I mean, knight h4 is could be some sort of idea. I find it hard to believe that we wouldn't be able to find something decent. Although maybe this is something. I guess Black played bishop a6 just to cover this b7 square, but b4 looked very awkward there. Black went knight c8, and now knight takes f7 from Ameet, and well, obviously this is going to be huge because we're weakening this king, and if you play queen f7, I just go b5, and I'm going to pick up this bishop, and the light squares all over the place, you know, are horrific there. Yeah. So I think
this is looking really good for White now.
Yeah, very, very fine play from Ameet, you know, to not try and hold on to the pawn, but give it back for, you know, for counterplay. I think that was excellent. Luck is my style. Well, actually, Black's done reasonably here to swap off the knights because the knights were quite dangerous. Still looking unpleasant for Black, just because of these weak light squares, but. Yeah, I mean, look at those rooks. Those rooks are quite active. Yeah, Black's still in trouble, but has done well, I would say. You know, that's definitely true. And also looking to try and take off this pawn to give a little bit of comfort for all the weak light squares. So, no, going to be a tough one. The only thing is, of course, the time situation is quite 36-5. So now Mark's done pretty well there, really. Oh, he did. Oh, look at this. He did find something very good. Look at this. So takes.
Yeah.
And here Mark went c4.
Okay. Yes.
Knight c4, rook c5. So very concrete way of breaking open the position. And White is a pawn up, but after rook fd1, you go rook c6. And I guess White didn't want to risk knight b7 because the knight is in a little bit of trouble. So he went knight c4,
I mean, if we take.
F takes e4. Ooh, and what white's now gone knight d2.
Oh, what if we take again?
So I guess the idea is to come to e4.
Okay.
I'm not.
Can we defend our pawn then? Like,
yeah, I'm not 100% confident against this one back.
Is it knight g5? Is it? No,
I'll go king g8. I mean, I think you go f3, but then I go bishop h6 simply. Rook a3. I don't know. It's a weird one, this one. I think it's really you're getting back some chances. I think the only problem is that this knight is so well entrenched, and this bishop won't be able to move anywhere else really. So I would have thought this one might be quite difficult to win for black. But this was a very fine maneuver. This this c4. I think he absolutely had to do it, or he was going to be losing. And maybe for white, a slower move like queen c4 then would have been better. You know, just stopping c5, c4, and then maybe play a rook to b1, and then afterwards you'll play queen d5 and knight c4. That might have been better. But I would presume Mark, maybe Mark could have gone bishop h6 and just knocked the knight away from its good position. So no, very good play from Mark there. So he should hold this now, and well, you never know. You know, with that extra pawn, you might be able to do something with it.
Yeah, like yesterday, win a long game.
Like yesterday. So Wadsworth against Thomas Villas. Thomas putting up a great fight here. So that knight on d5 is fantastic, obviously, but white is going to get black is going to grab a pawn, certainly. The question is, what can white do with this? I mean, we go rook c1 check. I think we've really got to do this. Do we go to h2? Or do we go to f2 maybe? I think we go to f2. We go to f2. We get a rook c2 check. We go king e3, rook a2, and probably I go h4. I think. Maybe I go rook a7 or rook a7. Got to watch out for rook b2. Actually, got to watch out for a4 as well. Actually. Well, maybe we can do it. So I go h4, let's say. Because if I go a4 here, I've got knight c3, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not... I mean, we can come to g2 and take on g3, but then black's got a fast a pawn. And,
if we go to a3?
a3, I just go knight a4.
And
I'm covering this one now. So yeah, this is possible, and yeah, I mean, obviously this bishop on f8 is the big problem. But could I go? I could go rook a3, and then if knight c3, you know, to stop at a4, I could maybe go d5.
The bishop's out.
King d4, bishop b4. This would be pretty decent. Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe there's could there be a better way? Could we go f5 maybe? That could be interesting. F5, threatening f6. So we go gf, and then I go king f4 maybe. Aggressive, maybe threatening knight e3 takes f5 at some stage. I'm not sure though. You know, I think. I think it's hard for white to really keep control of this position. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I think you know, Matthew's definitely pressing, but this is quite. Black's gone rook c5. That was another idea. You know, after knight e3, he might be looking to play d5.
d5, yeah.
I think, or actually could even, yeah. Because I mean, the knight's covering c2, so you're not getting your pawn back. But maybe, yeah, Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad reasoning, just to say the important thing in this position is to get my bishop active. Because, for example, if you went rook d7, I go rook check, maybe king g2. I mean, king f2, we go bishop c5, rook d5, rook c2 wins a piece. So rook c1, king g2, and we go bishop c5, knight d5, check, rook c2, and well, after king h3, I'm sure Tom will be looking to give mate bishop g1 and rook h2.
Of course he will.
So, well, maybe bishop g1 first of all, so interesting idea there. I think definitely. Okay. So Peter played e takes f5 indeed against Bogdan.
Okay. Yes.
And we got this ef4, bishop f4, queen a5 check, bishop d2. Ooh.
So now I'm looking at checks on the e file.
Indeed. I mean, I think white will play knight e3. Bogdan's spending a lot of time though now, actually. So obviously he's not quite seeing the. I would have given a check first, to be honest. But okay, queen a5, bishop d2. Yeah, Bogdan is spending an awful lot of time. He's down to 22 minutes, where he had 48 before, I think, when we saw. So obviously not 100% clear for him how to proceed. And actually, I have to say, not 100% clear for me either. But I think maybe, I mean, rook e8, white goes knight e3, and I'm really struggling to find how I would, how you'd stop this king from castling.
Castling, yeah.
And I mean, you've got to be careful, because if white castles, then this is the pieces are suddenly quite good. So. So I'm not sure about that. I mean, if I went queen c5 first of all, so I mean that's stopping the king from castling.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't do a move like bishop e3 because of queen c4, with obviously threat of mate on e2. So I guess then that I have to play knight e3.
Okay.
But now it's castle.
Still looking at castle.
And if I go knight d4, this is with the move really, for castles knight e2. Unfortunately, I played b4 against you. And then it's the question is, where do you put your queen? And the answer to that is there is actually no good spot for it, because queen c8, I've got knight e7 check, for example. And I mean, you're having to fish in troubled waters with something like knight e2, which is, well, I don't know. This is just very, very, very murky. I don't think it's, I think probably queen h4, queen d4 takes. I mean, you've got your pieces getting trapped all over the place. I mean, bishop d4, I've got g4. It's all gone wrong. You were attacking and you got it wrong. So I don't know. I'm really wondering, because I was expecting to go rook e8 check. So that if you go knight e3, I go queen a5. I could go queen a5. And you have
when the bishop can't come back.
Yeah, that's right. So that was what I was thinking. Now, of course, it is very natural to play queen a5 to get this rook into play, but this tempo looks quite awkward. But okay, what we could do. Well, no. I mean, a move. I was thinking I could go queen a2. And queen c4, and these two are loose. But I mean, if I just play knight e3, then I'm getting a bit worried for black, because I've got f6 coming in here. If I pin you, I've got bishop c3, for example. So this is crazy, crazy. It shouldn't be simply right. I mean, Black's on everything right here.
Black's delivering mate here, yeah. We know that. It's just how to do it.
Exactly. But knight e3, this is quite. Well, I mean, what would Tal do? Tal would attack something.
Bishop d4.
Well, I was thinking more of bishop e5, actually, just attacking something big. But I think we're just queen h4 here. This can't be true. This can't be true.
Knight d4.
B4,
You're going b4. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could go GF, for example. I mean, again, I'm slightly nervous about bishop c3, to be honest. If I could go knight e5, then I go b4 again. This queen is not. This queen is worrying me. The basic point is I feel like I'm calculating all sorts of complicated knife edge stuff, and I shouldn't be doing this. This should have been easier. I mean, I would like to play. I mean, I'd like to play rook f5 here.
Okay. What happens then? Takes.
I mean, I've got rid of this blockade on here. Yeah. I'm playing rook e8.
Knight f6.
Oh, you just want to take my pieces, do you?
Well, only if I don't get mated.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, no, it's nothing. It's nothing. I don't know. Preliminary conclusion for now is that white seems to be better, but I don't understand it. I would have thought I must be missing something, but I mean, I suppose one idea maybe, could I go queen a4, hitting the knight on c2? And after knight e3, I'll go knight d4. And at least I'm stopping you casting because of knight e2.
Yeah. b3.
Well, I've got queen a2 then, simply. I mean, maybe something like bishop c3. I've got knight e2 though. This might be interesting. This might be an idea, but it's dear me. He's gone rook e8.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone rook e8 rather. Okay, so I think knight e3 here. Oh no, he hasn't gone rook e8. Sorry, he's Bogdan. He's down to 15 minutes. So really, should black play a5 to give the queen?
Oh, Ameet has won.
Ameet has won. Yeah, that was on the cards, I think. As soon as he played this knight takes f7 move. Well played, Ameet. A really lovely game.
Very good.
Very well played there. So Ameet moves to 2 out of 2. I said before the tournament that he was going to be a danger, and I think he's playing very well. So yeah, I think that's very, very good. Ooh, luck is my style. Look at what Black has done. Black has done this really well. I never would have thought Black would have managed to do this. Now, still got to hold it, of course, but very good chances. I mean, I think you should just be trying to give away this pawn on e6, get the queens swapped off, and then so a move like bishop c3 is very sensible, for example. I mean, you've always got problems because your king's weak, but wow, that's very impressive. Welsh Tiger against Mark Hebden. So yeah, white's playing rook b6. So white's going to take this pawn first, and then afterwards try and round up this one. Yeah, I think black really needs to try and round up the a5 pawn. You can do that in many different ways. I mean, I think you can just play bishop b4, rook a6, and then probably rook d5. So yeah, I mean, black will have this. I don't think you're going to be able to grab this d pawn. But on the other hand, I'm not quite sure how black is ever going to make progress. But we're going to see. I mean, Mark this seems to be a tournament for long games for Mark. So let's see how that goes.
We've got another result. Jude Shearsby has won against Ethan Rathbone-Jones.
Oh, okay.
And Thomas Wills has had a draw with Tashika Aurora.
Okay, that's a very good result for Tashika, and a very good result for Jude, because Ethan played extremely well in the qualifiers. You know, it was he looked very, very good there. So, Thomas Villas did play d5, and Matthew Wadsworth did play rook d7. So I was expecting now rook c1 check, followed by bishop c5. So we're going to see whether that happens or not. Actually, I've just realized we could play, this might actually be a getting towards a dead draw, actually, because we could go check here and d4. And if rook d4, we go bishop c5. And we can't go rook c4 because of bishop e3, which I'd actually missed.
Oh, yes.
So we go rook d3, and then I just take, and go rook c2. And rook takes a2, and well, rook and 4 versus rook and 3, but these are really bad.
We've seen a bit of that already this tournament, haven't we?
Yeah, but it's a really bad 4, this one. So and also, so I mean that would be pretty tough to win that. So I mean Tom Villas playing really, really well, I have to say. It's really played well throughout the qualifications, and putting up great resistance against a very strong young British IM. Let's have a look. Oh, this was the game where Black sacrificed the exchange, didn't? And wow, this is looking quite impressive, right? Who is better and why, as Mikhail Gurevich always said. Not clear.
Yes, nice.
Not clear. I mean, c5 to c4 coming in. This could be quite. This could be quite unpleasant for White here. I would think that White would be doing well to draw this, but I think that's
really, even though it's, what is it, 1 pawn for the exchange?
Well, yeah,
because that knight so good.
That knight is is worth, I don't know how much, and I'm just going c5, c4 here. So I'm wondering just how White is doing this. I mean, I suppose, would you play a4 here? Maybe. Could this be an idea? I might just go b4 and a5. Maybe this is an idea to do this. And this rook is fine on here. And if I go c4 and White goes rook b4.
Take on.
Yeah, if I take on g3, you take on b5. I don't know. I could go knight d6. I'm wondering about this rook on b4. You know, takes, and
It's stuck.
b3 and rook b2. You know, but I don't know. You tell me how that rook's getting out. I'm not sure. I mean, it's yes. There is a very easy tip for that, Wolves DB. That is that you make the move in your head before playing it. So you actually consciously you just visualize yourself making the move on the board before with your hand before you make it, and that is supposed to give you that same sensation of sudden awareness that you get often when releasing a piece, you know, and seeing, oh my goodness, that's a blunder. It's that's what you're supposed to do, to visualize moving the piece in your head before actually making the move. So I think it was the Dutch player Paul van der Sterren who recommended that.
Okay.
Idle player against is doing very well. Exchange up.
Should we check out Julia Volovich?
Oh, Julia Volovich. Let's have a look. We haven't looked at her yet. Sean the Prawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 pawns each. Ooh, that's a pretty sharp ending, this, actually. My goodness, or queenless middle game, rather. Is white better here? I mean, there's lots of ideas here, you know, h5 and all this sort of stuff. But there's quite a few weaknesses as well. So the key question is whether this d4 pawn is going to survive, because, well, d4 is very crucial because obviously it holds up e5 as well. So I think if we go knight e2 in this position, we put the bishop back on c3, black goes knight c4, and then we play h5. I wouldn't mind being white in this position, to be honest. I quite like that. That's true, guitar man. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? I've still got things that happened in my chess career that that wake me up in the middle of the night. You know, it's yeah. He was a very good player, very solid player. He had that one amazing run in the candidates, actually, where he got all the way through, losing to Ghasi in a match, but put up a great resistance as well. He was prone to blunders, actually. He was tactically quite vulnerable. So I think that's why, you know, he came up with that tip to help that. He was a very good player, Pal van der Ster. And I lost a bad game against him in the Linares Zonal in '95. I was so desperate to avoid drawing variations against him or things where he'd just be a bit worse and survived. I just wanted something stupid and just lost a very poor game with white, and that actually cost me the qualification. So it was a very good learning experience, but yeah, I was very disappointed with myself.
It's quite an interesting game here. Declan Shaffi against Harry Grieve, and it looks like Harry's given up a pawn but has a nice initiative.
Let's have a look. Ooh, right. That is a very odd position indeed. So yeah, he's attacking this pawn. What should we do? I mean, there's too many checks, really. You're going to have to give up some of these kingside pawns, aren't you? I think there's nothing else for it. So maybe king c1. Let's have a look. Oh, I guess let's get the proper command. King c1, queen g2. The one thing that's making me stop and think a little bit is I was just wondering. Yeah, I just wonder whether I could play queen e1 and after here go bishop e2 and try and trap this queen somehow. But
okay.
It's maybe I've got to watch out for rook c8 coming in, attacking on c2 as well. So I mean, there's lots of different things happening in this position. No, actually, I quite like queen e1. If you go rook c8, I'll go rook b2, and I'll also get this idea of going c4, attacking the queen on c2. And I've got this threat of knight a7 as well, so not very clear. Let's have a look. I mean, otherwise, just what would I have otherwise? I could go rook e1, and rook c8. I've just got rook e2, and then I'll have knight a7 afterwards with this fork again. So rook e1. And if we go queen f3, let's just do this. Do I have anything exciting around here? Well, knight d6 check looks vaguely concerning. Where's the king going to go? g7 maybe? I could play queen b7. Whoa, it's a tricky old position, this one. It's just a mess, really. It's just... it really just is a bit of a mess, this one. Oh, he's gone rook b1. Okay. Wow.
Oh,
Okay. Well, why not? I suppose he's. I suppose takes. It just looks. For a moment, it just looks a little bit awkward, doesn't it? It just looks. You're wondering, ooh, good lord, you know, is this going to be? Am I going to get hit by something? But maybe not. I mean, what are you doing after rook c8? Actually, I suppose knight d6 check is good enough. So.
A6 has been played.
A6.
Yes.
Oh, that's not. Yeah, that would. Now that it's been played, I understand it because you're trying. Yeah, you're trying to chase this knight away from d6. Okay. Will you maybe go queen f2 check here? Try and maybe it might block on e2. They're probably going to take on check on here, I guess. Maybe king c1, but I don't know. I did really like protecting all these pawns. Simply, I'm just worrying we're just going to lose lots.
Lose all the kingside pawns, and then
I'm not 100% sure about how quickly we're gonna pile through with 3 pieces on the b file. I think 2 might have been enough, but okay, very interesting. Let's just see what Michael Adams is doing.
Yeah.
Ooh. This is looking. Oh, Michael Adams declined the draw. It says. Well, I mean, Black's done pretty well here, to be honest. Black has done pretty well. I have the strangest feeling we're going to get rook and bishop versus rook.
Oh, do you? Okay. Well, Mickey will know it.
Yeah, Black's really put up a very good resistance here because I was really thinking that this was going to be a certain smooth technical win. It is quite difficult though for Black. I think knight e1 check probably. Oh, g5. That is even better probably. g5 with a knight coming into f4. Well, this is quite problematic for White actually. How on earth are you going to do this?
What do you think with best play? Should this be a draw now?
Yeah, it should be a draw with best play. Yeah, because this pawn is so far away. You've got this one as a target, and the black pawns are going to be marching. Tom, yeah, I mean, William's done a hell of a job here. I don't know. I really don't know how we're going to do this. I think you're. Yeah, you know, you're moving towards the place where you're going to say we've got to play for tricks here because it's.
Well, here's called Tricky Mickey.
Our dramatic finish in Fernandez did. Let's have a look there. Luck is my skill. Where is luck is my skill?
It's about board 4.
I've lost him.
Board 4, I think.
Yeah, has he finished? Maybe.
Must have finished. Yeah. Okay.
What happened? What happened in that game?
We can get to it by finding him.
See. Yeah, no, that's gone. So what I can do, I can go here, can't I? Search.
Yes.
Luck is my skill.
That's him.
Was that December 22nd? That's today. Yes, he won. Do I press on the plus?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. Okay, so what happened there? So
He's got an extra queen.
Yeah. So what did we see? We saw it here. I think queen e2, rook e1. So black went. I said bishop c3 to chase the rook away from e1. Black went king f8. Queen c4, bishop f2. Ooh. Oh, good lord! Black went full out for the attack there. What was the idea there?
Oh, idea to go if king h2, bishop g1, king h3.
Oh, queen g4, rook d3. Yeah, no, it was kind of working actually. Here, check, here, here. That was the idea. Wow. But white went bishop f1, rook takes f1, king g2.
Oh, nice.
And everything's hanging. The queen, the bishop, the rook. Yeah, rook c1 takes, queen takes c1, and black resigned. So wow, that was super close. Hell of a counterattack there, but just falling short from Gunslinger 222. Let's have a look. How's B unit going?
Oh yes, with that check on the E file. That's it.
There we are. So bishop d2. He took on a2. I thought queen a4 was better, maybe. Castles, rook f5. Okay, well, he is just a pawn up, in all fairness. So, okay, bishop c3. Rook af8. Rook fe1. Still a tough old game.
You presumably can't take on c4.
Well, I don't know, actually. I was actually asking myself that question because if I...
Jonathan Blackburn just lost, we think.
Indeed, yes, that's right.
Daniel Fernandez.
So if I go queen c4, I go knight e3 here. And I don't think that I've got anything I can do, because if queen c5, I go b4, you know, the standard thing, and then chase you away. And I think it's just, yeah, a move like bishop d4, I go king h1, I think. So, no, I don't think you can take on c4, which means that white's got pretty okay compensation, I think, for the pawn. It's quite tricky. You know, this one's rather offside now, held in by the rook on e1. Or is it? Could I go bishop e2?
Oh, clever. And if it takes, you take on b1.
Yeah, but it could be, I don't know. It's kind of clever, but it's kind of also...
On prise.
Yeah, I don't know. Quite tricky. Quite tricky, this position. I mean, how much time does Bogdan have? 3 minutes.
Oh gosh.
3 to 4. So this is a really this is a tense one. This is really...
You see, the checkmate a lot might throw in a little draw offer here.
Yeah, Jonathan Blackburn lost there. That's looks like. Tom O'Gorman, they drew actually. They had this b4 a5 and a draw by repetition was agreed. Yeah, do feel that Black should have had something, but okay, that was an interesting game. Yeah, this one's going to be dramatic. Bogdan's time decreasing.
What about Katarzyna Tomar against Matthew Turner? How's that one going?
Yeah, there we are. Okay, so in principle, Black is better, I suppose, simply due to the difference in the knights.
Yeah.
But h4 looks a little bit weakening, but yeah, not sure. But you would have thought, yeah, but I mean, white is hanging in super tough there. So
would you want to do Black to rook? Oh, I said that you've got a rook hiding there on a1. That's underneath the pop-up thing on my screen.
These time for a biscuit, Natasha. You're flagging.
Good idea. Yes, a biscuit now. Turner and Kata. Kata is Kit Kat.
The Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. Time for Kit Kat. Yes, I'm prepared. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but it's also a tough one for Black to put away. That's a great move, Queen d8. Oh, nice c3 fork. That's Waldsman. That's a good. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, this Queen d8 move's a very nice move. Rook a8, just to knock this Alakin's gun away. I guess black's going to go queen f6 now. In principle, this is a very difficult position to hold for white. I would really, I'd expect the pressure to tell in the end. But you know, ooh, rook b8. Oh wow, counterattack.
Counterattack.
It's the thing about modern players, you know, they should really understand that they're worse and just sit there. But Katarina's playing for counterattack. But oh dear me! But would that really? I mean, I think if you got 2 rooks against the queen, this would still be very, very dangerous. So,
Which line are you thinking with 2 rooks against?
Well, I'm thinking of something like. I'm not too sure really, but I mean, if you go, let's just. I'm trying to find a reasonable move. Rook d3, maybe rook a8. Analysis board. The queen f4 check he's played. I mean, yeah. So if we go queen g3,
Oh, Bogdan has. Oh no, it's not Bogdan. Sorry.
They're drawn. They've drawn.
No, have they?
Yeah, they're drawn.
Okay. I wonder if Peter Finn did offer the draw. You know, when I said do a sneaky draw offer.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think probably white is better here. I think maybe. But Bogdan's saying we said that this was not played very much, but Bogdan says I found this line interesting for black. Only 2 games with it.
Okay.
So yeah, computer likes queen e2, bishop c1, knight d5. That's what we were looking at in the opening. Okay, well played, Peter Finn. Great result against Bogdan Lalic, and very exciting game as well. So well played. Shall we just go back to Mickey?
Yep.
What's happening there? Isn't Mickey just winning a pawn there, or am I missing something? What's happening after king g5?
King g5. King g5's played.
How did that happen? So king g4. Okay, yeah, this was always going to be really difficult to hold the pawn. King g4. Yeah, I hadn't seen that at all. King g5. Okay, so a pawn has gone. But indeed, this is not completely clear because king g4 we've got knight f2. He's going king h5 indeed. Oh. Yeah, I'm afraid this is going to be Mickey's going to merge with an extra pawn. I mean, that is absolutely clear.
Knight f2.
You're playing for tricks, Natasha. Hello everyone. Sorry about that. It's yeah, what can I say? Internet glitches somehow. But okay, we're back on, I think. Oh, good Lord. Are you there, Natasha?
I've just kicked me out again, but I think I'm back now.
Yeah, I think we're back to normal now. Do let us know if you can hear us. Give a shout. Just I suppose it's a long stream. What can you say? It's so yeah. No, Mickey is it's like ditto all over again. That's right, Mark. It's nothing. Yeah, my internet connection is completely stable, but just yeah, seems to be a bit of a problem there. Fantastic, great. Yeah, I think Mickey's going to do the business here. He did go knight f2. He did go for your trick, but
Yeah.
are we looking now at rook f6?
Oh gosh,
I think we are.
it's at the end of the fun.
Well, actually, in all fairness, now that the king's moved to f8, I mean, you've got h6 as well now, so you could escape anyway. Still going to be a bit of effort for Mickey, but I think he's going to make it. I think he's going to make it. Just because the exchange of rooks does look very dangerous, you know, with an a pawn over here. Although, I mean, the key point is, can Black bring the king over and sacrifice his knight for this rook's pawn? That's the one he has to sacrifice it for.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Actually, I'm actually just wondering. I mean, he's close. Knight e4. My goodness me. Knight e4, rook f7, king f7, bishop somewhere. Knight g3, king g4. You're blocking. Knight d6. We're threatening knight f5. You go king g4. Can he keep his rook's pawn safe? This is going to be a slightly fraught one, but I think it's probably I think this is quite unpleasant for oh no, good lord, idle player has lost to Hasban. He was looking very, very good there. He had rook and two rooks and a bishop against queen, but somehow lost his queen. Oh, hard luck, idle player.
I just saw Harry Grieve won that game against Declan Shafi.
Okay, wow. Ah, yeah, indeed. I think this was the wrong setup with the rooks on the b file. I think keeping one rook on the e file and then letting the king move to the b file would have been much, much better, I think. So yeah, Jonathan, hard luck for that one. Such a good defense. I looked at the opening and I really thought it was going to be so difficult. We got so close. That's really hard luck. That was yeah, he's a tough player. He plays fast and always tricky until the very last moment, but really, really hard luck. That was a great effort. We greatly enjoyed watching that one on the stream. Sean the Prawn against Julia. Oh, this is looking well. I was going to say this is looking quite dangerous for Julia, but it's also looking quite dangerous for Sean the Prawn, actually. So let's have a look. Yeah, Mark defended really well there. Mark defended really well. It's true, and this is going to be a draw, I think. Slight extra right, but should be a draw.
We haven't seen it, but I can't get to it. Aravamutan Balaji against Chris Finn.
Oh, indeed.
May have finished, but I can't see it. And also Oliver Stubbs against Tristan Cox.
We'll have a little look after. I'll just have a quick look at this one. So rook h7, king g8. Well, I suppose that rook h3 is really what you want to do here, threatening mate in 2. Oh, I think rook h3 was really strong, to be honest, because I don't think he had enough checks to do that. So Finn lost. White held his nerve with just seconds on the clock. Oh, good lord.
Okay.
So,
yes. Thank you.
So not clear anymore. What's happening here? Because rook gh3 was really strong. Check. Where are we going? King to d2, check. Actually, I mean, wouldn't rook c1 have been very strong just in this position? Wouldn't rook c6 rather? That would have been quite an interesting move. Are we going to get a repetition here? I think Black's going for the repetition. But will White bravely go for I think maybe white's going to repeat there, but I think that that in this position, I think after king g8, I think that rook gh3 was winning. Because I'm just thinking rook h8 and rook h7, and I don't see how you prevent that.
So
I mean,
king
check.
f8.
King f8, I'll just go check. A mate.
Still, yeah.
And I mean, if I go, if you check me here. Oh, wait a minute. Check here. Here. Oh, well, no, rook c6. I just come here simply. Oh, it's not so clear. Wait a minute. Takes. King a2 and rook g3. It's still a better ending for white, but maybe do I need rook a1? King f2, king f3. Oh, maybe it isn't a win. It was very close. Can I go king d1? Maybe this is better. Here and then here. That's better. The better way of doing it. And then you won't be able to. Then I really am going to be winning. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a win, that one. But that has ended up as a draw. Well played, both players. Sean the Prawn draws with Julia Volovich.
Hebs. How's Hebs doing?
Hebs is a little bit worse. Well, actually, not really even worse. He's just equal now, I think.
Another rook and pawn ending for Hebs.
Rook and 3 versus rook and 3. Is Hackattack still playing? Tom Villiers, yes, he is still playing.
Thomas Turner, big finish coming.
Oh.
How do you know what's going to happen?
Ooh. Let's have a look. It does look pretty good indeed. I mean, rook dd2 looks very natural, and it has been played.
Yes.
Rook g8 check. King f6. It's going to be played. Rook a6 check. We just go king e7. That doesn't sound. So we'll go king e6 now. And if you go rook a6 check, I'll just go king d7. And that seems to be winning, I think.
The king's just going to approach that rook.
Yeah, the king's just going to approach that rook, I think. No, very...
He's tricky, is Matthew Turner.
Yeah, no, very... I mean, Katarzyna's a very tough player. She, defends well, doesn't make any obvious mistakes at all, and has held a lot of good players, so it's a good winner's black. It's one that could easily go wrong, I think. So, but I don't see how White is going to save this. White's thinking a lot here, but it just looks hopeless, I think. So rook e8. Oh, unless no, it doesn't work. Yeah, king f6. Now we're going to play. I mean, black's just threatening rook takes h2. So hg. Well, I think we'll go hg. And again, I don't. I mean, knight g4. I'll just go knight takes, I think.
Yeah.
And I'll just move my rook away somewhere there, and it's just it is just a win. The king's getting mated. Yeah, so just taking there. Yeah, that's just going to be a win. Nightmare on Rook Ending Street. Indeed. Indeed.
What about Mickey? How's that one going?
Let's have a look at Mickey. Oh, my goodness.
Is the king close?
Oh. bishop and pawn have been forked. So
Yes. Okay. So say bishop defends pawn.
yeah, but you're not bishop f6. You're not actually within the square. Yeah. Oh, but this one's a funny one actually. King f7 now.
What if you defend it on g3?
Yeah, I was expecting him to defend on g3. Oh, but wait a minute. I was expecting him to defend on g3. This
is played. Yeah. Okay.
This one's a bit more risky. I think you have to go bishop g5 here. No, but this is not working. I just take here.
Oh.
I just take on h4. So he should play a5 maybe. Should he play a5 there?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh dear. So after king f7, he should play a5 maybe. Is this possible? Takes there.
Because if you take, can you get back?
Yeah,
if you take that
he's cut off the knight. So this is extremely clever, basically. So king f6, a6. Oh dear me. That was that's thrilling, but yeah, there's no way to do it. No way to do this. Yeah, that's a5 played indeed. Yeah. So brilliant play. Yeah, Michael, he always nice to come on and see someone else.
Yeah.
Indeed. That's what why commentating is nice, really. You know, it's. But I mean, a fantastic game from William. I mean, yesterday was great, and today was also really fantastic. I think he got close, very close to a draw, but just Michael's just relentless, really. Just one mistake, and he's really back at you.
So now, is Matthew Wadsworth and Tom Villiers finished yet?
Oh, let's have a look. No, that's still a rook and 2 versus rook and 1.
The rest seem to be finished, actually.
Yeah, this is actually just this is also just a draw, but yeah, obviously always tough. I think.
Were you winning, Peter, in that final position? You were. Yes, you were against Bogdan, weren't you? We were looking at that game.
Yeah, hard luck. You played really, really well, Peter. So, but it was quite. It was still quite complicated, I think. I mean, there were still pieces hanging all over the place. So, yeah, hard luck all the same, but well played as well. I think Thomas is defending this pretty well. The weird thing is that after. In these endings, after rook g7, you can simply go king there. I mean, another defense in these positions. Oh, it's rook's on a6. Okay. Another defense is for black to play the rook to h1, so that after rook g7, you can just play king f8. That's also very clear. But
yes, okay, because your pawn's
but in principle, having the rook on a1 is a pretty good way of defending it.
So this should be a draw, right?
This should be a draw. Yeah, this should be a draw. So rook to b7, but it's a nerve-wracking one. You know, I mean, it's always you're never 100% sure that that you've got it right, really. But yeah, this should be a draw. I'm not sure what would be the clearest draw. I think rook f1 is a pretty good idea. You know, just it attacks this pawn, and then after rook g7, you go king to h8, and the king can't get past. So that's just actually it's just rather really awkward to know. And if you go rook b8 to h8, I can always go rook h1 to defend the pawn. Again, I spent quite a lot of time analysing these endings. Rook f1 well played, because with our book Chess for Life and the key article rook and 2 versus rook and 1.
Yes, we did a lot on the.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. That was Natasha's fault.
Endings.
Yeah, that was Natasha's fault. Natasha did. Make
it wasn't. It was my suggestion, and then you did the work. Yeah, but I said we've got to look up stats on Keith's rook and pawn endings because he's known for it.
Yeah, so I did a lot of work on these endings, and they are indeed drawn. But I mean, the amount of trouble and uncertainty you can cause, with not much time on the clock, is quite something. So rook f2. But I think this is a very good way of defending with a rook on f2. I think very, very good technique from Thomas. Hack attack, but also able to defend long rook endings against strong players. That's very impressive. So what else we have? Oh, Mark Hebden has drawn. So this game was agreed drawn. So actually a very good defense from Mark, because he was in quite some trouble, I think. So very well played, Mark. Let's have a look now.
Is still going? Yes.
It's still going, but 2 pawns up now. So yeah, I'm afraid this is all going to be. You can't stop 2 rook pawns. That's yeah. Matt Turner has indeed won. Well played, Matt. Hard fought, Katarzyna, and yeah, I mean, great fun to watch. But Mark Hebden making it here. Rook h8 now. Rook h2 is got to be the move. It's in fact the only move for black.
You should spot that though.
I think so. Yeah. No, I would definitely expect that. Come on, Tom.
And then if king f5, you just check again, right?
Yeah, you just keep on checking, and when the king moves away, eventually then you take the f pawn. It's a very good defense. It's a very good defense. King f5. Now we give a rook f2 check, and I guess king g5. Yeah, we go back to h2 now. That's good. Building up an extra little bit of time. Oh, declined a draw. So now, well, actually, leaving the rook on h1 is also possible, but I would go rook f2 in this position. Just get back to the same. Oh, h6, even better. Yeah, sharp. He's sharp, Tom. Tom's really sharp. Now let's have a look. Rook f8, rook f6, rook f8. We go at h5 then. Yeah. So a little trick now. We go rook f8. Pretty sure about that. Pretty sure Matthew Wadsworth will do that. We take it. He'll take it, and now we go h5. That's the move to play now. Very important move, this one. I mean, other things do draw, but h5, yeah, well played. I'm really impressed. Got to say, Tom, great performance. He played. I mean, Matthew Wadsworth is a really good technician. Very strong, and just held the draw. In a difficult ending, played really well. So very impressive, both players. Excellent to watch there. Have we finished now? Actually,
that's it. Yeah.
Wow. So what
game's finished? So now what's happened this round? So we have seen the top 4 seeds have all won their games. So that's Mickey, Matthew Turner, Ameet, and Daniel Fernandez. Hebs and Matthew Wadsworth have drawn, as has Bogdan, and board 8 was a draw as well. Tomo Gorman against Jem Gurner. We saw Harry Grieve win against Declan Shafi. Board 10, Alex Goss against Ayan Ishmael Mohammed was a draw. Arava Mundan Balaji beat Chris Finn. Tristan Cox won against Oliver Stubbs. We had a draw, Tashika Aurora against Tom Wills. Oscar Idle lost his game to Harry Evans. Jude Shearsby beat Ethan Rathbone-Jones. Zoe Varney got a default against Mark Greenwood, and Julia Volovich against Sean Gordon was a draw.
Right, so that means that on the top boards we're going to have some exciting stuff. I would have thought Mike...
the top guys are going to start playing each other.
Maybe Michael.
There's just the 4 of them on the 4.
Yeah, maybe Michael against Ameet, and maybe Matthew Turner against Daniel Fernandez. So that's
yeah, it depends how they do it, because the colours would be slightly different. It might be Michael against. Oh no, no, you're right, because we've got 3 people who played white and just Matthew who played black.
Yeah, so I mean that's quite yeah, that's going to be a pretty good round. I'm looking forward to that already, actually. So
Yes.
yeah, you've missed all the commentary, Hack Attack. That's, what are you doing?
Don't worry, you can watch it back later.
Exactly.
And then start prepping after that.
It's well played, Hack Attack. We're really impressed. He's a really good technician, this guy. So yeah, I mean, really super effort to hold that. Really impressed. Well done. So well, there we are. We got had a great day of chess today, and I think tomorrow is going to be maybe even better because we've got some great games on board one. We've had some upsets today with qualifiers like Hack Attack doing and Peter Finn doing great stuff against the strongest players. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be there's going to be more of it tomorrow. So thanks very much, everyone, for watching. Thanks for all the comments. It's always good fun. Thanks for your patience with the occasional dropout. And yeah, looking very much forward to seeing you all tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow, actually, Natasha?
Tomorrow, I can tell you that we are going to be following the women's event in the morning. So, well, not in the morning. It feels like the morning, but it's actually in the early afternoon. So 1 o'clock is our game. It's the 23rd of December. We might need to do something Christmassy as well. But it's standard play final women's at 12:50, and then the standard play open at 18:50.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thanks very much. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Guitar Man. Thanks, everyone else. And
Thank you for
see you
watching.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.